Hello, everyone. I'm Scott Ryan Paulson, coming to you live once again from Haxx Studios in Tucson, Arizona. And this is the Citizen Soldier Podcast, the show that's dedicated to accountability, community, public safety, government transparency, and the real issues affecting everyday citizens across Southern Arizona and beyond. Whether you're joining us for the first time or you've been with us since day one, once again, welcome. And some of you out there have been calling me the Rooster of Tucson, and I wear that name with pride, my friends, because every morning a rooster does its job. It sounds the alarm whether people want to hear it or not. It doesn't care about comfort or convenience. Its only purpose is to wake people up. That's exactly what we're here to do. We wake people up to what's really happening in their neighborhoods, and to the power of civic engagement, and to the simple truth that citizens still hold the real power when they choose to use it. And communities don't collapse overnight, people. I've said this time and time again. Cities don't decline in a single day. Corruption, bad policy, and broken neighborhoods are built slowly. One ignored problem, one bad decision, and one silent voice at a time. And eventually, people wake up and wonder how their city slipped so far down the damn tube. And a lot of Tucsonians are asking these questions right now. And not because they hate this city, but because they love it deeply. And the people speaking up the loudest are often the ones who care the most. And they want safer streets. We want stronger neighborhoods. We want accountability from these public officials and honest transparency from government. And today, I want to recognize and thank every single one of you who refuse to stay silent out there. Every resident who shows up to city meetings, who asks those tough questions, and who refuse to accept the decline as it's normal. And I especially want to give a strong shout out to the Iron Voice Society and every citizen doing their hard work of staying informed and holding power to account. Your voice matters, whether people agree with you or not. Your willingness to show up and speak matters, my friend. And I also want to recognize the countless Tucson residents building the online communities out there. And, that's awesome. The neighborhood groups, the watchdog pages, the forums, and the people posting photos and sharing concerns about the crime, the infrastructure, the addiction. And those conversations matter because awareness leads to the action, people. And action leads to real change. And, it's forever now. Southern Arizona faces unique challenges, especially, tied to cross-border trafficking. These issues put real pressure on our communities because these narcos are living next door. They operate right in front of everybody. And, our public health and our neighborhoods are dying out here. And when residents see these addictions and crime creeping in, they have every right to question it. Those concerns are legitimate, and informed and engaged citizens is not the problem. They are the solution, people. Transparency should never fear scrutiny, and government should never fear oversight. And let me take that a little step further, too, because too often we see these local leaders treat these border-related pressures as someone else's problem. And they don't point fingers at federal agencies while neighborhoods bear the daily costs. Overdoses in our parks, stolen vehicles in our driveways, and families are living in fear. And that's not leadership. Real leadership means facing the data honestly, coordinating with every level of government, and putting residents first instead of these political optics. We need officials who will track repeat offenders, support overwhelmed first responders, and stop pretending that open dialogue about these realities somehow make us divisive. It doesn't. It makes us honest people. And real power doesn't come from outrage or endless complaining. It comes from participation. If you want a better Tucson, then get involved, my friend. Attend the meetings, support ethical local businesses, volunteer, vote, and read the budgets. Learn about how your city actually works. Ask the hard questions and refuse to accept those shallow answers, because that's all we hear nowadays here in Tucson. Informed citizens are powerful citizens. And powerful citizens build those strong communities. And I know many of you listening right now feel frustrated and ignored. Trust me, I hear you. Whether it's rising property crime in your neighborhood, failing infrastructures that's been kicked down the road for years, or the sense that your tax dollars aren't delivering the safety and services that you deserve. Your frustration is valid, Tucson, but the answer isn't to check out or become cynical. The answer is to stay engaged, stay informed, and keep showing up. Communities aren't saved by spectators. They're saved by participants. And the future of Tucson won't be decided by politicians. It will be decided by citizens who care enough to get involved. And that's why we do this show, to inform, to educate, and to motivate, and to remind every listener that you still matter. Your family matters, your neighborhood matters, and your community matters. And most of all, your voice matters, your iron voice. And here's your call to action for this week. Pick one thing, just one thing, people. Attend the next city council meeting and ask a question. Join a neighborhood watch, or do like we do at the Iron Voice Society. We are independent. You don't need permission. You don't need to be a part of the neighborhood watch to watch your neighborhood. And reach out to a local business doing good work and support them, my friends, or simply share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Small, consistent actions compound into real momentum. So keep on speaking up, Tucson, and keep on asking those questions, and keep supporting one another, and keep demanding a better Tucson. And never let anybody out there convince you that your participation doesn't make a difference, because let me tell you something. 100% it does. This is Scott Paulson reporting live from Haxx Studios here in Tucson, Arizona, and you've been listening to the Citizen Soldier Podcast. Until next time, my friend, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep standing watch over your community. Once again, the Rooster of Tucson, over and out.